Don't Worry, Be Happy Acrylic Nail Art Tutorial by Hotpinkzebrapolish.
Hi everyone! In today's video I'm going to be showing you these cute little donut shaped bath bombs, and because I was feeling donutty, I decided I would also show you a really fun, very easy 4D donut nail art design where the donut looks like it is being dunked into a little teacup of coffee, or a little coffee cup I suppose it would be if it is actually coffee in there. I'm a tea drinker, so it's weird for me to call it a coffee cup. It's a teacup in my mind. Anywho, this is really adorable, and also in the background of it, it says, "Don't worry, be happy," which just cracks me up. I love puns. They bring me a lot of joy. So this design is very pastel. It's very spring. I know it's not spring. It's barely the beginning of winter, but I'm already tired of winter, so I'm bringing spring colors into things because it's just who I am, and I am tired of winter. So I hope you guys like this and the light springy happy feeling that it kind of gives off, and I'll put a link to the donut bath bombs in the description box below, and don't forget to click subscribe to see all my future 2018 videos as well.
So here are the bath bombs that I'll be showing you. So they come in this cute little box. It does actually look like a donut box that you'd get if you were taking them to go from a bakery or something. And each one is individually wrapped, which is really nice because it kind of makes it so that the scent from each one doesn't blend in with the next. So they do all have an individual smell. Plus it holds all their sprinkles in. So because the sprinkles are kind of very loosely attached, when I opened it up over the tub so that all the sprinkles would just drop in there. And I can tell you that these smell phenomenal, and they actually fizz for a lot longer. It was probably 5-10 minutes that it fizzed, or before it was completely gone, which is a lot longer than some of them that I've had before. And the smell, like I said, amazing. It even left my bathroom smelling good for hours. It was probably like 12 hours that I could still get the smell, because I know I went to work and then I came home and I was like, ooh, it still smells really good in here. So they smell amazing. So then I'm going to be starting out my nail, and I began with a very light minty green, which is a color that I haven't used very much of my acrylics. And so when I found it, I was like, oh, this is perfect. I have to use this. So anyways, light minty green over the entire nail, and then I'm going to be encasing it with a layer of clear acrylic. This whole nail I sculpted it out super thin, and so I really didn't do too much filing on it because, like I said, it was a very thin nail, but I am going to be filing it just a touch. So I'm starting out with my coarse bit and mainly focusing around the edges of the nail, so just kind of getting rid of any bulk that happened to be there. And then using a much finer bit, I just ran over the entire nail just to smooth it out, make sure the surface was really nice and kind of velvety almost. So now I'm going to take the back end of a brush, the end of the handle, and I wrapped it up really tightly with plastic wrap. I think the one I'm using right now is it's Saran brand, but it can be any plastic cook wrap. And I'm using it to make the actual little coffee cup. So I'm going to be sculpting my coffee cup, like the bowl part of it, on the very end of the brush, and only go about halfway around it. Don't go all the way around it, or you're going to end up with an entire cup, and you don't need the whole cup. You just need the part of it that's on the nail. So don't go all the way around it, just sculpt half of it. And make sure that you choose a brush or whatever it is that you're using that's got that nice rounded end that is going to be about the right size to fit on your nail, and that is big enough that you can have a donut that goes into it. So you kind of have to balance it, make it as big as it can be for the nail. So then take an e-file with a very narrow bit and kind of clean up the edges, because you got these little stalactites that get created on the edge of it, on the edge when it's, I don't know, the acrylic kind of drips down and it gets into the wrinkles of the plastic wrap. So you kind of have to file those away. The other thing you have to do is you have to file a little niche into the bottom of your coffee cup. So the wire has to go through the cup, so you have to make sure that there's a hole in the bottom of your cup. And so I didn't sculpt that hole in from the beginning, so I had to create it with my e-file. So I just took and zoomed it right in the bottom of the cup, and as you can see, I just tested my wire to make sure that it was gonna fit through there fine. So it's right in the very bottom of your cup. And then I'm going to create the little saucer. So I just put a tiny little bead of acrylic down, and then I'm going to, with my wire, I just dunked it in some white acrylic so it didn't get stuck. But I added a little nook out of that one too, and then I lined them up, the two little indents. So the one that's on the saucer and the one that's on the cup, and I set them together while that saucer was still wet, and just kind of pressed them ever so slightly so that they set. And then once you have it set, you can take it apart. It's got a little cup and the saucer, and it works out really well. Also, in a nail form backing, I'm going to be making the little handle of my coffee cup. This is all done with white acrylic, but you could do any kind of acrylic you wanted. I was really tempted to do a Central Perk cup, so to write Central Perk on it from Friends, because when I think really funny little coffee cup, I automatically think Central Perk. So I was very tempted to, but they never really did anything with donuts. So then I thought it would be just kind of a weird crash of ideas. So I decided not to, but if you're going to kind of take the coffee cup design and change it up, you could definitely make a really cute little Central Perk coffee cup using the same starting procedure. So then glue it onto the nail. And when I glued it, I glued the saucer end of it, and then I kind of let the top portion of it stick up so that my donut would make sure that I made sure my donut would fit. And I'll show you how I made the donut in just a moment, but make sure your donut's going to fit in there so that you have the space, so you don't have to worry about that. And then seal up the edges, because as you can see, there's a little gap around it. You don't need a gap in your coffee cup or all of the liquid is going to escape. So make sure you seal all those edges down, except for, of course, the hole in the bottom of the cup, which is necessary for your wire. But every other hole can get filled in, every other little gap. So then, in the background, I'm going to be writing, "Do not worry, be happy," above the coffee cup. Now, there are other donut puns that you can definitely use. This one is just my favorite. I really enjoyed it. When I was trying to figure out exactly how I want to do this design, I just Googled donut puns, and I found so many that were so enjoyable, and I really had a hard time deciding, but I enjoyed this one the most. So I'm going to start with donut at the very top of the nail near the cuticle, and I'm going to make it very, very thick letters because I'm going to fill it in with pink later. So I need to make sure that my black paint is thick enough, my black lines rather, are thick enough that I have space to put the pink in the center without completely covering up my black. Then very, very narrow, thin, cursive lines. I'm going to be writing "worry" beneath that. So I've got donut that's so bold and kind of in your face, and then worry just kind of floating beneath it. And then so I'm going to have, and I started with the center letter of each word. So I start with the N of donut, the first R of worry, and then beneath that I'm going to be writing B. So donut and B are both a little bit bolder of words, and then worry and happy are a little bit daintier. So then B just right underneath it, very easy to do. It's smaller than donut, but it still has that bold block letter appearance. And then happy to finish it off. And this is a little bit difficult because you are working around that little coffee cup, which makes it so that it's kind of an obstacle for your brush to get around. That being said, if you didn't put the coffee cup on first and you painted it first, you'd have to really be careful about using your space wisely as to not lose it, as to not cover it up too much once you add the coffee cup. So you kind of have to make sure that you're using your space wisely if you are going to do it that way. Because you could set the coffee cup on there to see how much space you had available and then just make sure that you didn't use it. But I don't know. I thought I'd just set the coffee cup on there to make sure that I wasn't going to have that issue. And then, like I said, I'm going to be filling in the donut. I'm going to be filling that in with pink just because I thought that kind of tied back in with the pink frosting that I put on my donut. The 3D donut, not this donut. So I figured that would make those go together and just kind of be like another little tie back. And now I'm going to be applying gel sealer over the background, making sure that all that paint is nice and sealed in. Kind of going into the coffee cup just a little bit so that the glossiness doesn't abruptly stop. And then on a nail form backing, I will now show you how the donut is created. So place down your bead of this sparkly acrylic I have, but any donut-like color will work, and then press in the sides. Make sure that when you have the sides pressed in at this stage, it is smaller than you want it to be, because as soon as you take your dotting tool, which I'm doing now, and you press that in to create the hole in the donut, it gets bigger. So you have to make sure that before you do that, it's smaller than you want it to be in the end. Frost it with some light pink acrylic, just a very little bit kind of going over it. And then once that's set, you can remove it from the nail form backing, glue your wire onto the back of your donut, add just a little bit of gel sealer over the frosting, pick up some glitter with just a fan brush or anything you want to use and set that on for sprinkles. After that is cured, you can string your donut into your little coffee cup. Make sure the wire sets really nice so that it doesn't kind of, the first time I had it, the wire was bent just slightly, so it kind of pushed forward. So I just bent it back a little bit. Cut off any extra wire that you have that's on there because you don't need a whole huge long tail. Set some glue on the end of your wire, glue on a bead. And I just did this with nail glue. After I had it glued in place, I was like, you know what? I need a little bit more glue. So I just added another drop of glue on there just to make sure that it was gonna hold. Otherwise, you could also add some clear acrylic on there. That would also work. But that is it. This nail is just, like I said, it's fun and springy and it just has good vibes. So I hope you guys like it, and please share any recreations with me on Facebook or Instagram, and I will post links to those donut shaped bath bombs in the description box below, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!